What the army? It's a whole crew. His leggies broke. And that guy got fucked up. That guy got fucked up. Yeah. 5.6A1, not that great. Not even worried about that one. I gotta be careful because this guy might try to look at me through the windows at the top. Bro was hurty. He actually may try to come around. We'll see. From the other side. I think this is a scav. Oh yeah. Night night. Nice little one tap on there. 5.56 is so shit. It's so bad. His buddy took off though. I don't think I need to grenade the hole. I think the buddy actually took off. Yeah, sit in the hole for the extract. He left his bro behind. Bro. I kind of want to still go into...
How do you get there so fast? I spawned in more closer.
Just in case. All right, he didn't make it. Excellent, excellent. I will take all of it. So they definitely kill somebody up top. Interesting. Okay. I think we'll take it and leave it. Or take it and leave. Or whatever the f I'm trying to say. What's he doing? Shit ammo. I'm using 995, but it does suck. Disbelievers in shambles. I'm not leaving yet. He'll be back. We might just head into... Did I just see a shadow up there? Maybe we'll head into the labyrinth right now. Uh-oh. Do you guys know you can open up the doors? Was that partisan? I think that actually might have been partisan. Maybe. No, he doesn't have... Yeah, I don't know. Was that partisan? Bro. It was like aimbot, so I have a feeling it was. Because he literally tracked me the whole time. Oh, maybe not. 6 hours with a 7 KD with that tracking. Yeah. I'm gonna say probably not. What the hell? What are you doing, bro? Bro, what? I need him for the kill, so paid actor confirmed. You think he's got a toolkit trying to do some tasks? I see you. I'm not on PvE. Okay. All right. I'm pretty sure I shot the guy in the head too, and he didn't die. Maybe I shot him in the thorax. I don't know how all the scabs are sitting at the door like that. What the fuck was that? Yeah, task done. Who the hell cares? Also, that AUG sucked. What the hell? Demon, thank you for the biddies. I'm not bouncing for nobody. What the fuck? What the hell is happening, bro? Jesus Christ. I saw their head right at the last second. What are those guys doing? He's an actual fucking goblin. Look at this. See, this is a proper... Okay. You know this guy's not cheating. He got 162 hours on there. Okay. He only got 7 achievements though. But he's using a pistol. He just looks like a fucking Timmy. You know what I mean? He just looks like a Timmy. We know that guy's not cheating. He's feeling good about that one. Not gonna lie, I don't know how he didn't die. But that's fine. That dude is barely alive. Someone's taking vehicle extract. You think I can make it there in time? It just hit. I think I can make it. Well, that's not a person. Oh, he's right there. See ya. Oh shit. Did the car take off already? That lucky son of a bitch. We all almost had him. I'm surprised the first grenade didn't get him. We almost had him. Alright. It's time to go rat. Been doing too much W key shit. Oh, wait a sec. They're here. Hold. What the hell? They trying to shoot me through the wall? Okay. Where the hell are the goddamn PMCs? Do we have to go rat on arena? Ratting is a little odd. Wait, this is a scab. Oh. Has that been happening? Whoa! You been playing Warzone as Seb Bomber? Bro, why is a scav here? Scav nearly killed me. I don't think I have any keys to get in. Oh, we got some milk. Yes. Okay, well now I have this body I can sit in. But I don't know if people are gonna come through. Hold. Wait, I did reload, right? God damn it, the bomb! Really? Okay. I don't think I killed any of them. Bro. The ball launcher right at the wrong time. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's such a lame ball launcher, to be honest. Bro. Okay. Oh, we did kill one, though. We did kill one. These PMCs are so confusing. They'll like come down and then they just like leave every time. Like they. Oh, here we go. Interesting. I could have sworn he had a friend though. Excellent. Nice little one tap on that man. I think I'm alone. What was this guy using? What the hell? That plate was tanked. Yeah, the M4 build, I don't know what this is. That's a terrible M4. Well, actually this is not that bad, but... No, Maddie! They're hurting. Woo. Where the hell these people come from? Maddie, thank you for the biddies. No dino eggs. Okay. That was close. We almost died on that one. Uh-oh. Well. Gym spot. Yeah. Gym spot good. Whoa. 80 AIs? What is this guy doing? It's a player. Hold. Red, yeah. Red Robin Yum. Yeah, rotate from pool. That's also possible. Or he died to scav. I can hear him. Alright, Stunsy, thank you for the biddies. Okay. Bro's crazy. Maybe dude took off? Oh, there he is.
А! Подмагните! А! Подмагните! Подмогните! Ну-ка за мной все! За мной, блядь! Подмогните! Подмогните! Ну-ка за мной все!
А вот тут кореш мой бывал точно.
Помогите! За мной, блядь! Промагните!
Живем, пацаны!
Ain't that sneaky, buddy? PCPs? Class 4s? Nah, I was 4. Blark. I keep looting that bag, think I'm gonna lose something different. Oh, I forget I can do this. Okay. Let's go like that. Oh, what the hell? He had 88. He had 80 A1s in one of the mags, but wasn't using it. He had BCPs in the other mag. What? What was this guy doing? Oh well. Honestly, if you would have used 80A1s on me, I would have been dead. Class 6 front plate, but it's tank. Yeah, we should be good. Should be. Okay. BCPs. These guys are top loading. Maybe I should redo my mag real quick. Didn't I kill 3 dudes? Oh, here's the other guy. This class 5. Holy shit. Okay. I kind of want to go look for the guy outside and loot him, but I don't think he's going to have much. Well, well, well. What do we got here? Alright. What the hell? He's got a bipod on this thing as well? What was he using? Okay. Actually, that helmet kind of sucks. You got Theta? W. There's Labyrinth. Yeah, Labyrinth still exists. These guys were gonna go hit Labyrinth.
And until you stink 'em. The old stink Greg got him again.
The Nintendo Switch 2, one of the gaming industry's worst kept secrets.
Put down the gun. What's in the box? Don't worry about it. Hey, who wants to hear a joke? What's in the box?
And now a word from our sponsor.
Tired of your internet provider or government and every advertiser this side of the algorithm knowing what you Googled last night? Meet Proton VPN, the no logs policy. No nonsense VPN that doesn't just pretend to care about your privacy while secretly selling your data. It's supported on all major devices, including iOS and Android. Born from CERN scientists and backed by Swiss privacy laws so strict even your coffee order would be confidential. With Proton VPN, your connection is encrypted. Tighter than the TSA liquid bag. It masks your IP, blocks creepy trackers, kills malware before it lands, and runs on a strict independent audit. No logs policy, meaning even Proton couldn't snitch on you, even if someone asked nicely. Want to watch US Netflix in Tokyo or the BBC in Boise? Want it in 4K? Done. Proton VPN has 12,000 servers in 110 countries, optimized for streaming, torrenting, or pretending you live in Denmark for no reason at all. Speeds up to 10 gigabytes with a VPN accelerator that slaps buffering into the next week. Neat, made by an Apex collector. Nerd. It was at this point that even I was considering buying a Nintendo Switch to see what all the fuss was about. On April 2nd, Nintendo Direct posted an hour-long video of the juicy Switch details. Nintendo started showing off games and peripherals, many of which didn't appeal to me, like a webcam, but maybe great if you're a parent and you want to game with your kids on the Switch while you're traveling for work. But then I saw this very strange message.
A Nintendo Switch Online membership will be required to use the game chat.
You need an online subscription. just to chat with your friends and family on Game Chat. This business model worked for the early days of Xbox Live, but it's 2025. You can always FaceTime someone with your iPhone if you need to. Steam allows you to chat with your friends on the Steam Deck with no extra charge or fees. Whatever. Nintendo's going to Nintendo. But they did have some cool features like Game Share, where one person could share a single game with everyone else in the room that had a Switch. This seems awesome. Nintendo Direct showed off a strong line of games and backwards compatibility with popular titles, which from what I can tell is just emulation. So you could do all of this on the Steam Deck with a much bigger library. But I digress. The Steam Deck requires you to use 2 neurons, and ain't nobody got time for that. When the modern vintage gamer said the Switch 2 would use emulation almost 2 years ago, people wanted to burn this man at the stake. They called him a grifter and shameless, and in the last 5 days, he was vindicated. Of course, no one will ever say sorry on the internet because everyone's an asshole.
So this particular
Ноги бы тут не сломать. Нужна подмога!
Information comes from the Ask a Developer blog series on Nintendo.com. It's tricky to explain. Maybe the easiest way to understand it is that the methods used to achieve compatibility between Nintendo DS and 3DS and between Switch and Switch 2 are completely different. Simply put, those systems were compatible because Nintendo 3DS contained DS hardware and Wii U contained Wii hardware, as we said. However, Switch 2 doesn't contain any Switch hardware. And this is where we get into the meat of the discussion. Does this mean that Switch and Switch 2 aren't compatible at a hardware level? Exactly. This time we decided to take on the challenge of using new technology to run Switch games. If we tried to use a technology like software emulators, we'd have to run Switch 2 at full capacity. But that would mean the battery wouldn't last so long, so we did something that's somewhere in between a software emulator and hardware compatibility.
He's a monster.
Everything seemed positive about the Switch 2. Even I was primed and ready to go. Take my money, please! Higeo Miyamuro? I don't know who the hell works at Nintendo anymore. But like all things in the 2020s, all that hope and optimism was gone. The game prices were revealed and the hype dropped faster and harder than my portfolio investment after the tariffs. During the Mario livestream, fans began to revolt.
Drop the prices!
Increase the prices.
Drop the prices! Drop the prices! Boo! Boo! Hiss!
Lame, boo! Tomato, tomato, tomato.
The children were squealing in horror.
Former Nintendo PR says Switch 2 and Mario Kart World Backlash are a true crisis moment.
Don't worry, it's Nintendo. They're not going to change anything because they know you people will pay.
Nintendo bumped its game prices on the digital Switch 2 games to $80. Physical games are $90. Gaming at a new MSRP of $80 is here thanks to Nintendo new Switch 2 platform pricing scheme. But that's only for digital. Physical games will be $90.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
Somehow, someway, Nintendo'd so hard that everyone who was a fan of Nintendo couldn't imagine such a thing happening. Kind of like what's going on with the current administration.
I'm amazed of his genius.
Some Nintendo fans ran to defend the company because that's what you do. You defend a billion-dollar company you love more than most of your family members, especially your second cousin Daniel.
In the middle 90s, game pricing was here. Do you think that the $20 to $30 inflation for Nintendo is valid? It's been 20 plus years.
All right, using old Nintendo games costs more as your argument is lame and gay. Those are cartridges made with materials like plastic and copper. Some even had physics chips built into them for certain games. The game boxes came with manuals, posters, tchotchkes, stickers. All the stuff was in the base. Plus, there was no season pass. There was no extra bullshit they could put onto it. You got everything up front. In this day and age, when you got stuff like that, that's the special edition where they want $120 for it. And the fact that digital games cost $80? What type of BS is this?
Gonna be seeing this image in the next few months. I can tell. Gonna say this once. These prices are absurd too. But you know what's also existed in the 90s retail stores? You didn't have to buy the game to play it. But they really aren't an option these days, are they?
The movie and gaming industry did a fantastic job of limiting consumers' options to own the media that they bought. Or, in this case, to even rent a physical copy to see if you liked it. Other people on Twitter knew that this was just greed, plain and simple.
$80 games are one thing. It's the $80 remasters that I really have a problem with. How did they justify this? They didn't justify it. They just know people will pay these prices. What they're doing to gaming is disgusting. That region locking the $330 Switch 2 in Japan is one of the most egregious things I've ever seen them do, and that's saying something.
When you look at it, you can buy Wind Waker for around $50 on eBay for the, what was it, the GameCube, right? Breath of the Wild on the Switch is $40 on average. $20 on the Wii U. But the Switch 2 version is $70 to $80 for the digital version, and you don't get the box or anything. Gamers on Twitter started turning on each other. Ironically,
it was Tuesday.
The more info that came out, the more pissed off the non-hardcore Nintendo fans became.
How it works, you insert your game key card into the system. And step 2, you download the game. The game itself isn't included on the game key card, so you'll have to download it before you can play. When you insert the game key card, further instructions will be displayed on the home menu. Please follow the instructions to download the game.
It's just basically a Steam key, but it's on a little piece of plastic. You can't really sell it then, because it's a key. The Switch 2 USB port, USB-C port doesn't offer video output. All right. The console itself in America is $449 without Mario Kart. The Japanese release was $100 cheaper. But to keep the Americans from buying consoles in Japan at a lower price, the Japanese version was region locked. Gaming journalism immediately swept in to tell you about inflation.
Please, consumer, please. The billion-dollar company is starving. You have to understand that these prices are fair.
If you adjust the launch of the Nintendo consoles for inflation, the Switch 2 isn't the most expensive one.
But it's pretty close. Here are more details.
Whoopee, hooray!
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next products.
I feel so much...
Подмагните! 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 могут пизды выдать. Нет никого. Вроде никого. Подмогните! За мной, блядь! Ну и чё тут за хуйня? Ну и чё тут за хуйня? Шалава!
Better now, knowing that the NES would have been $500. I was so close to not buying the Switch 2.
And just when the dust began to settle, the goddamn tariffs came in and
Jack punched the global socioeconomic landscape right in the sweetness.
Nintendo immediately postponed the pre-orders for the American launch of the Switch, and you might wonder why. Here's what I gather using common sense. Japan usually outsourced the manufacturing of the Switches to China. Then because of tariffs, China started outsourcing their work to Vietnam, trying to bypass tariffs the first time. But since the current administration has enacted tariffs across the board, even on a small island off the coast of Antarctica that is only inhabited by penguins, you don't believe me, look it up. Frankly, nobody's safe.
Pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch in the US will not start in April 9th in order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving marketing conditions. Nintendo will update the timing at a later date. The launch date of June 5th, 2025 is unchanged. GameStop will continue to work closely with Nintendo to provide updates. As soon as more information becomes available, stay tuned for further details.
After the pre-order announcement, Nintendo wanted to let you know that Mario Kart was totally worth $80, and it will change your life. A Twitter user, Giant Called Me Astro, had this to say in response.
Red Dead Redemption cost $400 million to make, from the ground up and sold for $60. Meanwhile, Nintendo develops Mario Kart using reused assets for less than $50 million and want to sell it for $90. How can anyone possibly justify these atrocious prices from Nintendo?
Trump announced more tariffs, and China is so pissed off that they banned American movies. I guess they saw Snow White 2 and had enough. At the end of the day, the value of anything is determined by what people will pay for it. I highly doubt these prices will affect Nintendo at the end of the day. The real question is, will the Switch 2 be more expensive? They didn't consider tariffs at first when they were launching the Switch 2, but they will now, as this video clip will show.
Now we're sitting here on April 2nd. It just so happens, as we're recording this, the President of the United States right now is announcing his tariffs. You and so many other executives are pulling their hair out, trying to figure out, how do I price my products? How did that come into play as you're deciding how to price the Switch 2 here in the United States?
Yeah. As we price the Switch 2, the price we announced today of $449 for the single SKU, we didn't consider tariffs into that equation. We felt that that was going to be the right price point for our consumers and the right value proposition, if you will, for the device that we're creating. A lot of news today. We're still all trying to really understand it better and understand what possible impacts, may rise from that. But nothing I can really add to, today's discussion around pricing.
If you think Nintendo didn't see what Nvidia did to finesse the market and use the tariffs to get the maximum amount of profit from their GPUs during the 50 series launch, well, I have a jar of farts that if you take a deep sniff of, will make all of your dreams come true when you awake, and it's only $99.95.
Maybe heavenly?
I went to work. Satisfied customer posted online.
Oh, here's some good news.
Nintendo says it understands that some consumers won't be able to afford the Switch 2, which is why they're still making the Switch 1 available.
It reminds me of that dude when Xbox first launched, and he was like, if you don't want to always be online, you can play Xbox 360.
Thank God, Nintendo's making sure that they don't leave without your money. But I'll give them this. If Nvidia was still making the 40 series graphics cards, I would have bought a 4090 rather than a 50 series card any day of the week.
So, all sarcasm aside, I guess this is kind of cool if you really want the Switch.
He said, in an attempt to give the right answer.
While finishing off this video, Canada got hit with a pre-order delay.
Oh no!
Regarding the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders, pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2 in Canada will not start on April 9th in 2025. In order to align with the timing of the pre-orders to be determined in the US, Nintendo will provide updated information at a later date, the launch date, blah, 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 blah. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Remember what I said about Nintendo fans being willing to pay?
Gamer Cage, please, don't delay it. I'll pay $90 for Mario Kart if you keep it. The Yanks screwed us over again. What else is new?
You know, things are bad when people want to let you know they're not American, so they throw the Canadian flag in their bio.
How is this America's fault, dude?
Normal,
Up, man. What is your problem, you bigot? Well, you're all caught up. Everything really hinges on what Tweetler will do next. You can only hope that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And unfortunately, gamers are now feeling the pinch. It's so sad when people who have so little wake up to find that they'll have a little less and it'll cost a little more. And we're all just a little tired.
Yeah, I've been really into fishing and games recently. I'm not talking about...
Look at that, chat. I think we did this last time, right? Showed you the entire arena. Cinematic, nice slow zoom out. Doesn't that look cool? Sometimes I'm able to clean up good, man. Look at that. Look how good that looks. We're missing somebody over on team 2, which is a little unfortunate. No, we're not. No, we're not. I'm a liar. Look, you can actually see the entire town. Holy, how far can I go? My game crashed? Hopefully get in. Oh wow, look at that. Oh, now it's, oh god, we starting to see holes in this whole thing. Never mind, reply back in. I don't really know where you guys can stand. You just gotta have to figure something out right now where you can stand. This arena's a little weird for that. Is Rick still up there? Oh no, he doesn't get kicked out after a while. I was gonna say for a second. It is gonna be Rick. Do you port back up? Is that what happened? Is that what Rick did? Young might just diary actually. Hold on a second. Trying to figure out who's going where. And Rick trying to see if he can get some Dreadstalkers in. He's going to send him over into the water alley just so he can redirect them, reroute them back over Young. He's got himself a Ring of Frost for a second. That is going to be a Doom Guard waiting for him. Not a lot of line of sight for you to work with. There's technically like platforms that you can hide behind. But like in terms of the line of sight, like your approach is basically going to be really open as you're walking towards Rick. Plus with all these pads that you're trying to line of sight, yeah, I want to go for a block here pretty quickly on. And Rick is able to really put up some immediate pressure, immediate dominance over Young. That is a little bit rough, man. A little rough. Young does go for the blinks, got himself Ultra, looking for a bit of shadows around the pillar as he gets axe tossed and locked down for a moment. Not much you can do. He got himself Ultra, he's perfect to fight pushing in. But I mean, he's just unable to really hold onto the shield for too long right now. Able to drop down blizzards to slow down these pets. Ring of Frost to at least stop a lot of that damage. Looking to catch up to Rick, but Rick is all the way on the other side of the zip code, man. He does not nowhere near him. Sending out another fresh set of Demon Doggers. Wait, you can. Why does the game let you do that? Can Warlocks actually just do that? I mean, I guess the game eventually gonna kick you out, but like, I feel like that's a little like cheating. He can literally just escape. He's got himself literally an invis. Young, just all he can do is back super far away, but all these pets are still chasing after him. I don't know why Rick's pets are just random attacking whoever, but that's going to be another block out for Young. I didn't realize that Rick has himself a cheatsy spot like that. If the game allows it, I guess so. Blizzard, you better fix it then. Blizzard better fix it, man. Otherwise, this is perfectly okay, I guess. I like how the Frost volley on those imps, by the way. That looks awesome. I don't know if it does a lot of damage, but it looks cool. Rick already setting himself up. He's just got himself all those demons. He's just gonna let the demons PvE Young down. He's got himself a port in case he needs to. Got himself a Mortal Call, more Dreadstalkers. A normal block for Young. I think it's lights, man. I think it's actually lights. Yeah, it is over. He got himself Doom Lord and everything. A Doom Guard and everything. This is gonna be Theotar rushing in. He's got himself. Look at this guy go. Look at this man go. I like this whole purple look. He's got himself the bird mask, Arakoa looking like. But it's gonna be poured out for Rick. Just immediately mutes it, and Theo just left down here just fighting all the demons. That is so messed up. That is actually so messed up. As Rick is gonna back up down, keep his range away from Theo. Let him just get shredded by these pets, man. That's a lot of demons to fight through. Just a ton. As he's trying to see if he can get himself a little bit of that healing behind the pillar. Got himself a bulwark, told him having to rotate it, man. This lock, I'm like, yo, yeah, seriously, dude. I didn't realize Rick had some strats here. But Theo, I think, might just go down. I don't know if he can do much. It's a lot of demons surrounding him. Got himself a little bit of healing. Maybe he can land a kick. It's going to be just all those demons eventually surrounding you, eventually doing you in. Leo better be very, very careful when he pops his big cooldowns. Because now he knows Rick. Big cooldowns are in. Rick stunned for a second. The intro silence. Tried to deny him the port. Rick wants to go for a port. He does give himself a port. And a Hellstone. Look at this. Holy. The cheating. The actual cheating. Does go for the wall here. Leo trying to see if he can bring back some sanctity into the 1v1 arena. As Rick is going to try to see if he can port out of there. Wall was used, but he's going to get going back in. Mortal Fear. Cannot get Fear. Lichborn is there ahead of time. Ported out. And Tyrant. Wait, are his pets stuck up there now? Wait, he can hit through the wall? He can hit through the wall? He can hit through the floor? He can hit through the door? The hatch? No way. I had no idea Warlocks could do this. Last time I got this arena, it was just a melee brawl, man. That's all it was. Every time I get this arena, it's usually a bunch of melee in here. Brawling out. I never had a Warlock in this map. This is so wild to me. Fulgrim is going to be taking a lot of that frosty damage. Locking down Leo. Leo's doing a bunch of damage back to him, but those eviscerates are almost going to be enough. Leo does go for death back for a second, but Fulgrim has himself yet another eviscerate to continue the pressure. It's going to be down to Saya and Plush. Is it going to be Plush next? It's like Saya, dude. Look at him. He's just in the shadows. He's in the dark. He's just chilling, man. Holy. That's awesome. It is crazy, man. I found a neat little trick in Arena recently. The endless Nagafogger works. It can be tiny and solo shuffle. Oh, that could be really annoying though, can it? If you're like, if you have that endless toy and you hard to see. I guess as long as you have hell bars enabled, you should be able to target them, but damn.
Oh, that's the first.
That's weird. I wonder if they'll keep that in the game or if they will fix that at some point and nerf it. I mean, if it's fun and if it's not super disruptive, I say why not? I say keep those things. This is going to be a bit of Adonai's out for Plush. Does catch Fulgrim, but doesn't have a trinket. But Plush is going to be an opportunity just to get himself a full lockdown. Now the cheap shots may be available. Getting those Shadow Strikes back to back. Those stones are apparently not enough. Plush getting locked down. The stones back to back himself though. Cheat Death is available. It's going to be brocketed. Cheat Death proc. Cloak of Shadows. Vanish to follow. Got himself a bit of shielding. Yeah, it is a nail biter. Where's the goblin chick up here? The commentator, she's like, genuine nail bite. I'm like, yeah. It is, because it's a little close for comfort. Shadow Blades are available. Blood potentially could have himself the go he needs. Oh, that eviscerate though. Oh, that eviscerate was nasty. That was good. That was good. Plus has to go up. This is 3 though. Dead. We got Wildlife. We got us this Eloise. So it's gonna be quite a decent bit to go through. Wildlife just starting off with Bear from Hasker, man. He has to let the rogue get the opener. Thrash, I think he does get the rogue blood up. It's perfect. As long as he got a blood up at least once, he shouldn't be able to get himself a proper reset. Thrash, if not maybe swipe. Do you even have Thrash as a Brinken? I don't even know. But trees, oh my god, that was disgustingly good. Oh my god, that was crazy. That was crazy good burst. Look at that. What's up, Nikolai? Head of my bed. I love the buff conversion. They buffed up Wrath by quite a bit. They were like, alright, Wrath Star Surge cranked up by quite a decent bit. And it's like, oh, okay. I could pop trees, couple of rats, and you were dead. Super fun. Was that Incarn? That was through Incarn too, wasn't it? That was a lot of damage. Wildlife having to find a way to get away from Saya though. Is going to be an interrupt by Saya earlier. It wasn't able to interrupt anything though. Cyclone with a couple of regrowth. Wildlife just trying to give himself as much survivability as possible. Silence with the rune to Saya. He can't break it for a second. Wildlife is just fighting through the dampening right now as best as he can. Got himself some trees, maybe a bit of damage. Starshard, but it's going to be immune to traumatic damage. He's going to have to go bear for him, and I don't even know if that'll be enough, though. I think it's just way too behind on health, and Saya doesn't take him. That is a tough one. I don't think you win that one. It does high dampening. That is tough, especially with a Pally who just popped immune to traumatic damage. That is tough. Saya does get a lockdown onto Dead. We just trying to see if he can back away for a second. Having to wall this immediately. Saya just taking all that momentum from Boomkin onto the Ellie Shaman. He got himself a big Stormkeeper. Wants to go for a proper setup, but he's got to hold back for a bit here. He definitely does have to hold back for a moment. As long as you can get Saya out in the open to get a couple zaps, you might be okay, but it's gonna be tough. Earth Elemental is in play. We'll have to get a fire. Apparently, I already used a fire early at some point. Got him so the ancestors join in. That could be a lot of damage. Could be big blasters to follow. Saya might be in a bit of trouble. Blind instead, the Searing Glare is going to be able to reverse it. The ancestors still are able to land in the licks, but it's going to be a wall for Saya. Stun, Trick It Through is going to be for dead. Trying to go for a Hex unless you can get Juka to Hex. Trying to juke a Hex, but the entire time Saya not juking, not getting juked, not landing a kick. And it's actually just forcing a lot of pressure onto the Ally Shaman. Having to play that mind game of, is he going to kick? Not gonna kick? Is he gonna kick? But then at the end of the day, you never get to do a proper cast. You never get to cast like a heal or a damage spell or nothing. That is tough, man. Juking a kick is hard in the caster. As somebody who's melee who just goes ook ook, jukes are hard. I find jukes hard, so I barely can land it even when I play caster, so I feel in that. Did Saya stop the full hunt by Eloise with a Hodge? I thought it would have connected, but I guess it never did. That is unfortunate for Eloise. That is a cooldown burnt, and it's going to be immunity used really, really early here to try to deal with the damage Saya is doing. But Saya can just go for a quick regenerating. So you put a dot into Eloise, who's just like, oh, this downlight, it's going to hurt. Saya just like, okay, I'm just going to regenerate, get my health back up. For Eloise, he doesn't have that same recovery, so he's going to have to find a way to close the gap. Rotate defenses. But he might be playing from behind here at this point. Does get a stun onto Saya, hard to follow. I think he just lights. Yeah, I think it's just light. Searing Glare. Yeah, I don't think there's much you can do about it. That is tough. Not an easy one. Saya does pick up 3 though. Well done, well done. Well done.
The actor who played Goku in Evolution still feels bad about the role. One thing every actor hopes for when playing a protagonist in a manga adaptation is to receive praise from the creator of the work. Well, that wasn't the case for Justin Chatwin. It's true that he doesn't deserve all the blame for the fiasco that was this film. His casting for the role was terrible, starting with the fact that he didn't resemble Goku at all. In fact, no actor would have fit, because the director and the screenwriter are the real villains for making this bomb. But since Chatwin's face was the most prominent in the film, it tarnished his career to the point where he kind of disappeared from Hollywood, making only a few appearances after Evolution. This affected him so much that after Akira's death, Chatwin left this message as a tribute saying, "Rest in peace, brother, and I'm sorry for ruining that adaptation so much." But why did he apologize to Akira? Because at the time, the sensei stated that Evolution didn't even deserve to be called Dragon Ball, and he also said that the producers refused to accept his advice and suggestions to make the film more faithful to the original material. The actor who played Goku in Evolution still
Hello
feels
and welcome
bad
back,
about
everyone. Today we're here to talk about what just
American
may
History
very
X
well
was
be
one
the
of-
weirdest comic adaptation of all time. A movie that wasn't afraid to put Oscar winners like Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman in some of the most grotesque and insane makeup ever used in a movie. A movie that is unafraid of its source material and strives to replicate the look of 1930s comic strips as closely as it can. That's right, today we are talking about 1990s Dick Tracy. So Dick Tracy was directed by and stars Warren Beatty alongside Madonna, Al Pacino, and Dustin Hoffman, just to name a few. The movie also features a score by Danny Elfman, who was fresh off doing the Batman soundtrack, and boy can you hear it. And also features 5 original songs written by Broadway legend Stephen Sondheim, because this movie is secretly like 40% a musical. And seriously, this is not only one of the weirdest comic adaptations of all time, but one of the weirdest movies of all time. It feels completely detached from the era it was made in every single way. Much like The Rocketeer and The Shadow, which we talked about a few weeks ago, Dick Tracy was greenlit during the Great Batman race of 1989, where every studio tried to launch their own pulpy franchise. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Hollywood is incapable of learning the correct lesson when a movie hits big. After Batman came out, all of the studios rushed to find their next pulp adventure hero. Rather than look to other comics from DC or even Marvel, they looked to old pulp adventure characters from the 30s and 40s. But what really sets Dick Tracy apart from all these other pulp hero movies of the early 1990s is the look of the movie. And that's primarily because Beatty insisted that the film stick with the same color palette used in the original comic strip, and focusing primarily on just 4 colors: red, green, blue, and obviously yellow. And Dick Tracy isn't the only comic book adaptation to try and imitate the style of its source material as closely as possible. I mean, just look at 300 and Sin City for examples. But because those movies rely so heavily on computer-generated backgrounds, they end up looking more like
Подмагните! 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 За мной, блядь!
Я с пацанами за такое не плохо.
They're coming, they're coming, they're coming, they're coming, coming.
No.
The rogues are coming. The rogues are coming. You have a splint or anything? I got shot by them when I ran in here.
What?
Oh no, you good, you good. A grenade? Do you have a grenade?
I only have a flashbang.
Alright, I'll go. Oh, that's good. That's good enough. I can lure them with
Is he
that.
on the roof?
Yeah. Okay, he's on the roof.
It's only one of them, right?
Yeah, but the other ones are in building 2. I'll see if there's a grenade up here too. Nope, 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 no grenade. Do you need a Rolex?
Huh?
You need a Rolex?
Oh no, I'm fine. You can have it.
А, подмагните!
Ну, шкура цела уже неплохо.
Ну и чё тут за хуйня? Ну-ка за мной все! Ну ничего.
Careful, he's in the gunner. That's how
Yeah,
you.
watch this.
Yeah, that's how you shot me. Oh, lucky fucker. Oh, that sounds like they're going for him. Oh, he got the shot. Did you get him? Oh yeah, he got him.
А, подмагните! А, подмагните! мной! Подмогните! 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 Подмогните!
Fuckers! Shit, I'm fucking hurt!
Подмагните! За мной, блядь! Вот петух!
Like a video game than they do a traditional game. And even though Zack Snyder and Robert Rodriguez essentially used Frank Miller's source material as their storyboards, neither of them even came close to replicating the pulpy beauty found within these comics. But Dick Tracy leans into it, playing with vibrant colors and moody noir-influenced lighting. And before we go any further, I feel like I should tell you guys, even though I had seen Dick Tracy before, I hadn't seen it in about 25 years before starting to work on this video. It just felt like the right time to revisit it. So how did this movie come to be, and what is its legacy? The character of Dick Tracy was created in 1931 by Chester Gould, and he made his premiere in the pages of the Detroit Mirror and was quickly syndicated around the country to other newspapers. And I mean, the setup for the comic strip is pretty simple. Dick Tracy is a tough, smart, renowned detective, and he fights the mob in his city, going up against bad guys like Alphonse Big Boy Caprice, Flat Top, Pruneface, Lips Manless, and other silly named bad guys that also look as ridiculous as these motherfuckers do. Anyway, since his creation in 1931, Dick Tracy has gone through a number of iterations and adaptations, making his way from comic strips to comic books and novels and radio shows, a couple of film adaptations from RKO in the 1940s, and then finally, in 1990, we got Warren Beatty's masterpiece? Anyway, Beatty apparently had an idea for a Dick Tracy adaptation as far back as 1975, and from then until the movie was released, it was constantly shuffling through writers, directors, and stars. Just for the fun of it, here's a long list of people that were at one point attached to work on or in talks to work on Dick Tracy. Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, John Landis, Clint Eastwood, Walter Hill, Joel Silver, Harrison Ford, Tom Selleck, and Mel Gibson. And in 1985, Warren Beatty finally just said fuck it and bought the rights to Dick Tracy himself from Tribune Media. Isn't that fucking crazy that we used to live in a time where not every character was owned by a major corporation? What's really crazy though is that to this day, Warren Beatty still holds the rights to Dick Tracy, and as recently as 2023, he was claiming that a sequel movie was in the works. So one of the most interesting things about Dick Tracy to me is one, how weird it is, and two, that it's essentially Warren Beatty working through his intimacy issues and deciding to leave the bachelor life behind him. For those that don't know, Warren Beatty was a well-known bachelor in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He's been linked to over 100 female celebrities over the years. So Dick Tracy was released in 1990, and then in 1991, Beatty met and fell in love with Annette Bening. The two got married in 1992 and have been together ever since, and even have 4 kids together. Which which is interesting when you consider that at its heart, Dick Tracy is really a movie about growing up and settling down and surrounding yourself with the people who care about you. And it's just really interesting to me that it was Dick Tracy of all movies that helped Beatty work through his issues and decide to settle down, especially when you consider that this movie also stars Madonna, who Warren Beatty was dating throughout all of
Dick
production.
Tracy.
And then the two promptly broke up after the movie was released. So anyway, in December of 1988, after Dick Tracy had been kicking around development hell for the better part of 15 years, Warner Brothers released a trailer
I know
for
you
their
can't type
upcoming
it, huh?
summer tentpole,
How's it going?
Batman, which shook all of Hollywood to its core. A new era was here, and this was the catalyst that finally got Disney to take Dick Tracy out of development.
Yeah. Hello there.
Development hell and get the cameras rolling. And in February of 1989, Dick Tracy went into production with Warren Beatty starring and directing and working with his longtime cinematographer Vittorio Storaro, and a cast that included Al Pacino, Madonna, Mandy Patinkin, Paul Sorvino, Dick Van Dyke, Dustin Hoffman, and James Caan. And then, on June 15th, 1990, Dick Tracy was released into the world, and it did pretty okay. Roger Ebert even gave it 4 out of 4 stars. And on its $46 million budget, the movie grossed a worldwide total of nearly $163 million, which isn't a smash hit by any means, but it certainly wasn't a flop either. In reading some reviews for Dick Tracy when it first came out, it seems like the general consensus was that the art direction, matte paintings, and cinematography all elevated it to another level far above its more bare-bones screenplay. Alright, now that all of the background is done, let's talk about this fucking movie. There's honestly a lot to love about Dick Tracy. I've already talked a little bit about the color palette, but this movie opens loudly announcing that it's going to look a little different than most movies. This opening shot and sequence, I think, do a really great job of setting audience expectations of the visual language of the movie. Like, we open on the shot of Dick Tracy's gun, badge, and watch laid out before his radio with red trim, and then the camera tilts up to show us the radio in front of a wall that is also a deep red. No pattern, just red. And then we cut to a wide and see Dick Tracy leaving his apartment, and then the camera shows us the first beautiful matte painting of the movie, and all of this is telling us, hey, this movie's going to look and feel a little different. The shot composition alone feels like something straight from the pages of the comic strip, and that was fully Beatty's intention. His shots feel like panels, but panels where people live and move and breathe. As far as the plot of this movie goes, honestly, it's really not all that deep, and not much happens in it. This is a movie that's almost entirely about the aesthetics and vibes. That being said, we pretty much immediately meet the kid, played by Charlie Korsmo, who would go on to be in Hook, one of my favorite Spielberg movies, and Can't Hardly Wait. And I was curious when making this video, so I pulled up his IMDb, and when you know it, he took a 20-year break from acting to become a lawyer and law professor before coming back in 2018 to be in 2 movies, both directed by his friend Aaron Schimberg, which are Chained for Life and A Different Man, both of which I still need to see. Now, where was I? Oh, right, the movie. Okay, so we meet the kid, and he sees a group of truly insane-looking thugs gunned down by 2 more insane-looking thugs, including my favorite thug in the entire movie, Flat Top. And they leave a message for Tracy on the wall in bullet holes. It's pretty fucking sick. Anyway, Tracy tracks down the kid as a witness and ends up kinda sorta adopting him with his girlfriend Tess Trueheart, played flawlessly by Glenn Headley. And she's clearly ready for Tracy to settle down with her, but also knows how seriously he takes his career, and after years of them being together, it's almost like she's given up hope that he'll ever be ready to settle down. We're also quickly introduced to Madonna's breathless Mahoney and Paul Sorvino's lips manless, who is quickly tricked by our main baddie, Alphonse Big Boy Caprice, and ends up taking a cement bath before being dropped into the river. Which leaves Big Boy now in charge of Lips' club, and I guess he also gets Madonna in the deal. Okay, let's pause real quick and talk about Al Pacino as Big Boy for just a minute. First of all, this makeup is fucking incredible. And second, Pacino's performance here is like really strong. I mean, he was nominated for an Oscar for this role. Honestly, it kind of feels like he just dialed up Tony Montana a bit and leaned into his Italian accent instead of the bad Cuban accent he has in Scarface. Look, don't come at me in the comments. We all know he had no business playing a Cuban refugee. Also, isn't it kind of interesting that Big Boy is based on Al Capone and Capone's nickname was Scarface? So that means Pacino has done two completely different versions of essentially the same character, but I digress. Okay, this is also where we're introduced to Dustin Hoffman as Mumbles, and while his makeup may not be as insane as the other mobsters, I fucking love his performance in this movie, and I just wanted to make sure I called that out because he's just a fun, silly character. Okay, so anyway, Big Boy takes over Lips's club and is trying to take over all the organized crime in the city, and we get this great scene of him teaching Breathless and several dancers a new routine for the club, and the whole sequence is hilarious and grotesque. Like, I just love how hard Al Pacino threw himself into this character and dialed it up to 11. And this is where Dick Tracy and Breathless Mahoney meet, but the sexual tension between these two is palpable. Remember how I said these two were dating at the time of filming? Then we're treated to a nice little montage of Tracy, Tess, and the kid. And I love how the kid keeps asking, Louis. And we get to see this nice little trio of a family begin to form. Really, this whole little montage is so wholesome and fun, and I think really does show that at this time Beatty was beginning to mature a little bit. Like, you can kind of see the gears working in his brain and being like, being a family is kind of fucking awesome. Why don't I want my own family again? Anyway, then we get what is one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Big Boy Caprice has assembled all of the other mobsters in the city, and I mean, again, just look at this fucking set design and makeup. It's fucking incredible. But this whole scene kind of reminds me of the Five Families scene from The Godfather, which is ironic.
Oh, somebody spawned on the rock side. They're dead. No way. Oh shit, he survived way too many shots. And the way he knew to wait for me right there. That was really clean. I did the quick reload and he still beat me on reloading. That's some bullshit.
ironic considering we've got Al Pacino and Jimmy Caan in the scene. And basically this scene plays out exactly how you'd expect. Big Boy tells everyone what's up. Most everyone falls in line. Jimmy Caan doesn't and leaves, and his car blows up. So anyone that was thinking about not falling in line is now thinking twice. And with that out of the way, Big Boy now controls the entire city. Like I said earlier, this movie is fairly light on plot and story. From here, it's a back and forth of Big Boy trying to get Tracy out of the picture and Tracy doing his best to overcome everything Big Boy throws at him, but not before we're introduced to our secondary antagonist of the movie, No Face, who I have to imagine was a big influence on Steve Ditko when he created The Question for DC in the 60s, but I couldn't really find any concrete proof of this, so if you know anything about it, let me know in the comments. But anyway, No Face is a really interesting character because we're not really sure what their plan is, but we know they're shady. No Face exists primarily to play the two different sides against one another in an attempt to take over the criminal underworld for themselves. They frame Dick Tracy for murder, they frame Big Boy for kidnapping, and they want to seize power for themselves. And at the end of the movie, it's revealed that No Face has been Breathless Mahoney the entire time. I think this is actually a really clever reveal, especially when you consider that Breathless is in love with Tracy, who has complicated feelings himself, but he knows his heart will always really belong to Tess, even though she catches him making out with Breathless, and that sucks, and he kisses her again at the end.
Fool this man!
So at the end of the day, Big Boy dies, No Face dies, and Dick Tracy gets the girl and the kid who's now going as Dick Tracy Jr. And I just love how this movie ends with Tracy fumbling over asking Tess to marry him as he's trying to leave and catch some bank robbers, and he just kind of throws her the ring box before walking out the door. It just feels pitch perfect for what this movie actually is. Like I said earlier, the movie is fairly light on plot and story. It really does feel like a comic strip that way. Every 15 minutes or so, there's a cliffhanger of some sort, and then we move on to the next section of the story. But what really makes this movie shine is the look of it. Like I said earlier, there aren't any other movies that look like Dick Tracy. From shot composition to the lighting to set decoration and makeup, there just aren't any other movies I can think of that went the extra mile to create something that felt so otherworldly, yet of our world. I mentioned Sin City earlier, and I do think that's probably the closest we've gotten to something like Dick Tracy, but again, so much of Sin City's backdrop is computer generated that when you put the two movies side by side, it's not even close. Dick Tracy blows it out of the water as far as looks goes. So 35 years later, what is the legacy of Dick Tracy? Well, I think it's largely forgotten. There hasn't been any attempt at a reboot because Warren Beatty still holds the rights and insists he's going to make a sequel. But I think for the folks that remember Dick Tracy, they remember it fondly. Even if they didn't love the movie, I bet they still think of the way it looks.
I still like the movie.
I know, I still do. Like I said, prior to working on this video, I hadn't seen this movie in at least 25 years, so it was almost like seeing it again for the first time. And I will think about some of the shots in this movie for as long as I live because they're just that cool and memorable. Now, as far as Warren Beatty still holding the rights to the character and wanting to make a sequel, since 1990, he has made 2 short specials that turn classic movies. One in 2010, although it was shot in 2008, and one in 2023. Both of them, he comes in, he plays Dick Tracy, and is weirdly interviewed by Leonard Maltin. All of this is just to ensure that Warren Beatty can hang on to the rights just a little bit longer. Well, Warren Beatty is currently 88 years old, and while he seems to be in good health, I do wonder if he'll be able to finally pump out that sequel before his time on this earth comes to an end. What do you guys think? Would you be interested in a Dick Tracy sequel starring
yeah, if they make it the same way.
Warren Beatty? Would you like a reboot? Or should we just leave Dick Tracy be and leave this wonderfully strange movie as his final cinematic legacy? Let me know in the comments. I've been Brandon from Born to Rant, and if
maybe the kid ends up being Dick Tracy.
It truly means the world. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We release new videos covering all things nerdy every Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
There are great movies, and then there's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This one-of-a-kind masterpiece seamlessly blends film noir with animated cartoons, earning its place as a timeless classic that redefined animation techniques still influential today. But the road to its creation was anything but smooth. The production sparked a rift between two powerhouse studios, sent the budget into a freefall, and left several key figures blacklisted in Hollywood amid escalating tensions. The film was the brainchild of several creative powerhouses, including Steven Spielberg as producer and director Robert Zemeckis. But it all started with author Gary K. Wolfe. His love of cartoons and mystery stories led him to write the novel Who Censored Roger Rabbit, set in an alternate 1980s where humans and comic strip characters coexist. In the story, private detective Eddie Valiant is hired by Roger Rabbit, an animated actor, to investigate his bosses. But when Roger turns up dead, a mystery unfolds, involving his girlfriend Jessica Rabbit and an evil genie from a magical teapot. Who Censored Roger Rabbit was published in 1981, but a year earlier a copy of the manuscript anonymously made its way to Walt Disney Productions, specifically to the desk of Ron W. Miller. As Disney's president since 1980 and Walt Disney's son-in-law, Miller was intrigued. At the time, however, Disney was far from its golden age. The studio was in the midst of a major slump, attempting to cater to adult audiences with projects that bombed both critically and commercially. Even animated films like The Black Cauldron failed to generate the magic or fanfare of earlier classics. Disney's decline was widely blamed on Miller, who was buckling under mounting pressure to turn things around. He saw Who Censored Roger Rabbit as a potential lifeline. Captivated by the eccentric world and compelling plot, he believed it had the makings of a hit. Before moving forward, he shared the manuscript with Roy Disney, the company's vice president, and Walt's nephew, who was the studio's most respected figure. Roy agreed. The story had potential. With his approval, Miller purchased the film rights for $35,000, a modest investment, and greenlit an adaptation that he hoped would rescue Disney's reputation, along with his own. To ensure the film would stand out, Miller allocated a $12 million budget, a typical amount for the time, but felt the original title, Who Censored Roger Rabbit, sounded too niche, appealing only to adults. It was rebranded as Who Framed Roger Rabbit to broaden its appeal. Another critical change was to make Roger and the other characters animated cartoons. While Disney had previously mixed live action and animation in films like Pete's Dragon, Who Framed Roger Rabbit aimed to push the boundaries further. Confident in the project, Miller brought in Daryl Van Sitters, an animator who had worked on Pete's Dragon, to lead the creative effort. Van Sitters was drawn to the concept, envisioning a serious detective story despite the animated elements. In 1983, the team conducted early tests with live actors portraying Eddie Valiant, alongside animated versions of Roger and Jessica Rabbit. Roger's voice was performed by Paul Rubens, who was already famous as Pee Wee Herman. Meanwhile, Miller hired screenwriters Jeffrey Price and Peter S. Seaman, known for their work on Disney's Trenchcoat. The pair made significant departures from Wolfe's novel. For instance, they removed the subplot involving a wish-granting genie and introduced famous cartoon characters to expand the story's world. However, they retained the core mystery and deepened the dynamic between Eddie and Roger. Even with a talented team in place, Miller needed the right director to bring the vision to life. He approached Robert Zemeckis, a rising talent who had directed I Want to Hold Your Hand and Used Cars. While neither film had been a hit, Miller admired Zemeckis' style and invited him to review Van Sitter's work. Zemeckis liked the concept, but felt Disney wasn't investing enough resources into the project. He wanted a larger budget, more advanced technology, and a tone that balanced humor and intrigue. His vision clashed with Van Sitter's, who wanted to keep the story darker and more grounded. Ultimately, Miller sided with Van Sitter's, reasoning that Zemeckis' track record didn't warrant taking such risks. Zemeckis walked away, and the project proceeded without him. Tensions began to mount. Van Sitter strongly disliked Price and Seaman's comedic script, believing it reduced Roger Rabbit to a slapstick character and undermined the story's seriousness. Miller supported Van Sitter's, replacing the writers with Lowell Gans and Babaloo Mendel, who shifted the story's setting to World War II. However, their version failed to win over anyone. By now, doubts about the project were spreading within Disney. Executives were losing faith in Miller's leadership.
Fuck. Again. Oh, I'm pinned down.
Ну давай, давай! Ща я тебя порву нахуй, сука, блядь, вдоль, блядь!
Wow. Fucking wow. Someone else killed him. I don't know how. I guess they didn't have this line of sight of me, but they did have a line of sight of him. I lost completely the torso. I'm gonna be making a lot of noise. I don't think this is the guy that was shooting me at the start. I mean, right now, yes. But when I went in the house. Bullshit, I fucking shot him way before he... Oh well. This guy might have been the cheater. I saw him looking towards the right side before he even aimed at me. He was facing to the right. His right, that is. And when I peeked, and then when I turned, he's already aiming at me. Yeah, I'm not gonna believe that he has a low kill ratio with 2,000 hours. And didn't miss any shot right now. I mean, that was one shot either way, but... Oh well, that's game. Get some sleep.